A luxury bag is not priced like a bag. A luxury watch is not priced like a machine. And a bottle of designer perfume is definitely not priced like scented liquid in glass. The strange part is, most buyers already know this. They know the leather is not worth thousands of dollars by itself. They know the metal, the zipper, the box, and the shopping bag do not explain the final price. Yet people still line up. Sometimes they wait months. Sometimes they beg for permission to spend money. That is the business of luxury. Not selling products. Selling distance. Distance from the ordinary. Distance from the discount rack. Distance from everyone else. When someone buys luxury, they are paying for several things at once. There is the material. There is the labor. There is the design. There is the store. There is the advertising. Then there is the invisible part. The brand premium. That is where the real money lives. A luxury company can take an object that has a physical cost, wrap it in history, scarcity, celebrity, and ritual, then sell it for a price that has almost nothing to do with the object alone. This does not mean every luxury product is cheaply made. Many are made with better materials, better quality control, and more skilled labor than ordinary goods. But quality is only the beginning of the price, not the explanation. The explanation is that luxury brands have spent decades teaching people what the object means. A normal handbag carries your things. A luxury handbag carries a signal. Taste, access, wealth, discipline, belonging, and sometimes the hope that other people will read the signal correctly. This is why luxury is one of the most unusual businesses in the world. Most companies try to sell more by becoming easier to buy. Luxury often becomes more desirable by staying difficult. Hard to find, hard to afford, hard to enter, and sometimes hard to be treated nicely by. That last part matters. Walk into a luxury boutique and the store is not designed like a normal shop. It is quieter, there is more space, fewer products are visible. The lighting is softer. The staff do not always rush toward you like they need the sale. The room is built to reverse the power dynamic. You are not only buying from the brand is quietly deciding whether you belong. That feeling is uncomfortable, but it is also powerful. Because when the customer finally gets attention, finally gets offered the item, finally gets invited deeper into the brand's world, the purchase feels less like a transaction. It feels like admission. And admission is a much more profitable product than leather. This is why luxury brands do not only target billionaires. The ultra-rich matter, of course. They buy couture, high jewelry, rare watches, custom pieces, private appointments, and expensive goods that may never appear on a public website. But the luxury machine is much wider than that. It also depends on people who are not rich enough to live luxury but are willing to buy a small piece of it. The tourist buying a wallet in Paris. The office worker saving for a belt. The college student buying designer fragrance. The young professional choosing sunglasses with a logo large enough to be noticed. The collector treating a watch like an asset. The status seeker who wants the room to understand something before they say a word. Luxury sells to all of them, but it sells each of them a slightly different dream. For the ultra-rich, luxury can be service, privacy, rarity, and access. For aspirational buyers, it can be proof of progress, a small symbol that says, "I'm getting closer." That is why the entry products are so important. Perfume, cosmetics, sunglasses, card holders, scarves, belts, keychains, and small leather goods are the front door to the mansion. Not everyone can buy the mansion, but millions can buy the keychain. This is where luxury becomes brilliant as a business. The brand can protect the image of exclusivity at the top while selling accessible symbols at the bottom. One customer spends $20,000. Another spends $150,000. Both walk away carrying the same name. The price of luxury looks absurd when you only look at materials. A strip of leather, a piece of hardware, a few stitches, a glass bottle. Add them up, and the retail price seems impossible. But luxury pricing is not a simple equation of material cost plus profit. It is a stack. At the bottom is raw material cost: leather, cotton, silk, gold, steel, glass, alcohol, pigment, packaging. Above that is manufacturing cost: cutting, sewing, assembly, finishing, inspection, waste, skilled labor, factory overhead. Then comes design cost: creative directors, pattern makers, product development, prototypes, failed ideas, seasonal collections, and the expensive work of making something feel new without making it feel unfamiliar. After that comes marketing: fashion shows, celebrity campaigns, magazine shoots, influencer gifting, red carpet placement, huge flagship stores in the most expensive streets on earth. Then retail markup enters the picture. Luxury brands do not just sell objects, they sell them inside controlled environments. The marble floor, the security guard, the private salon, the champagne, the wrapping, the trained associate, the location next to other elite brands. The customer pays for all of it. Then, finally, comes the part no factory invoice can explain: the premium for the name. This is the reason two visually similar products can live in completely different economic universes. One is an accessory, the other is a social code. And the stronger the code, the more pricing power the brand has. This is why the largest luxury groups care so much about brand control. LVMH reported 80.8 billion euros in revenue in 2025, across 75 brands and more than 6,280 stores worldwide. Hermès reported 16 billion euros of revenue in 2025, a reminder that a brand can become enormous while still presenting itself as selective and craft-driven. That balance is not accidental. Luxury brands want growth, they just cannot look desperate for it. A normal company can run promotions, push volume, flood outlets, and chase every possible customer. A luxury brand has to be more careful. The moment everyone can get it, fewer people want it. That is why heavy discounting can be dangerous. A discount does not only reduce this month's margin, it can train customers to wait. It can make full-price buyers feel foolish. It can move the product from desire into inventory, and inventory is the enemy of magic. This is also why supply control matters so much. Some luxury brands limit production, some control wholesale partners tightly, some buy back distribution, some avoid obvious markdowns. Some would rather produce less than let the market see too much. Historically, parts of the fashion industry have even faced criticism for destroying unsold goods to protect brand value, though many companies now face stronger public pressure to handle excess inventory more responsibly. The logic is brutal. Scarcity protects the dream. If a luxury item ends up piled on a clearance table, the product may still be physically fine, but the story is damaged. And in luxury, the story is the asset. That is why waiting lists can make a product more desirable. The delay becomes part of the pleasure. The customer does not just want the item, they want to become the kind of person who gets the call. Resale value adds another layer. When certain bags or watches hold value or appear to trade above retail in secondary markets, the purchase starts to feel less like spending and more like entering a private economy. Buyers tell themselves the item is not only beautiful, it is rational. It is collectible. It might even be an investment. That can be true in some cases, but it is not guaranteed. Resale markets are selective, volatile, and shaped by condition, timing, model, color, brand reputation, and hype. Still, the idea of resale value changes the psychology. It gives desire a business excuse. And luxury loves when emotion can disguise itself as logic. The most profitable luxury customer is not always the person buying the most expensive item. Sometimes it is the person buying the first one, the first perfume, the first lipstick, the first pair of sunglasses, the first card holder with the logo stamped in the corner. Entry products are small, but psychologically they are huge. They let a customer participate in a brand they cannot fully afford. A person may never buy a couture dress, but they can wear the fragrance. They may never own a rare watch, but they can buy the brand sunglasses. They may never be invited to the private salon, but they can still carry the shopping bag through the mall. That shopping bag matters. The ribbon matters. The box matters. The receipt folder matters. Luxury turns packaging into proof. The customer leaves with an object, but also with evidence that they briefly entered the world. And once someone is entered, the brand has a relationship. This is where luxury begins to resemble a ladder. At the bottom are fragrance and cosmetics. Above that are sunglasses, belts, scarves, wallets, and small leather goods. Higher up are shoes, bags, ready-to-wear, watches, jewelry, rare pieces, private client services, and custom work. Each step makes the next step feel a little less impossible. The brand is not only selling today's item, it is training tomorrow's customer. Younger consumers are especially important here. They may not have the wealth of older clients yet, but they have taste formation, social media habits, and decades of future spending potential. A brand that captures someone at 22 may be shaping what they aspire to at 35. This is why celebrity influence is not decoration, it is infrastructure. A celebrity campaign attaches the brand to a face people already admire. A fashion show turns products into cultural events. An influencer post makes the object feel present in everyday life, even when the price keeps it far away. Heritage storytelling gives the brand a past that feels deeper than commerce. The founder, the workshop, the archive, the old trunks, the royal clients, the handcraft, the Paris address, the Swiss Valley, the Italian atelier. Some of it is history. Some of it is theater. The strongest brands make it difficult to separate the two. That is not a weakness, that is the business model. Luxury brands need customers to believe the item came from somewhere more meaningful than a supply chain. They need the object to feel like it has a soul. They need the logo to feel inherited, even when the customer bought it last Saturday. This is why a luxury store can feel almost religious. There are rituals: the greeting, the waiting, the careful presentation, the associate bringing the product out from somewhere hidden, the mirror, the pause, the box, the final walkout. A normal retailer wants to reduce friction. Luxury often uses friction to create meaning. Too much friction can become insulting. Too little can make the brand feel ordinary. The art is in the tension. Make the customer feel welcomed but not casual, served but not chased, seen but also evaluated, selected. That is why luxury is not only about wealth. It is about hierarchy. Who gets access? Who gets offered the rare color? Who gets invited upstairs? Who gets the call when the new piece arrives? The product becomes a token in a quiet social game, and the game is often more addictive than the product. The strange thing about luxury is that it depends on inequality, but it cannot look cruel. It has to make distance feel beautiful. It has to make exclusion feel elegant. It has to make a high price feel like proof, not punishment. That is a delicate trick. If the brand becomes too available, it loses status. If it becomes too arrogant, it creates resentment. If quality slips, customers start asking dangerous questions. What am I actually paying for? That question can break the spell. Luxury brands know this, which is why they constantly reinforce the answer before the customer asks. They talk about craftsmanship. They talk about heritage. They talk about timelessness. They talk about artisans, archives, scarcity, and creative vision. All of those things can be real, but they also perform a business function. They protect the gap between cost and price. Because once a customer sees only the object, comparison becomes easy. This bag versus that bag. This watch versus that watch. This jacket versus a cheaper jacket made from similar fabric. Luxury cannot survive as a spreadsheet. It survives as belief. That belief is why brand groups spend enormous resources managing image, distribution, store design, creative directors, celebrity relationships, and product placement. It is why they care where the product is sold. It is why they care who wears it. It is why they care whether it appears in the wrong discount channel. It is why they care about resale markets, even when they do not directly control every resale transaction. The brand is not just protecting revenue, it is protecting meaning. And meaning is fragile. A logo can be powerful for 100 years, then become tired in 5. A brand can become desirable because celebrities wear it, then become overexposed because too many influencers do. A product can become iconic because it is rare, then become suspicious if customers believe scarcity is artificial. Luxury is always balancing two opposing needs. It must sell enough to grow, it must stay rare enough to matter. That is the hidden pressure behind the entire industry. How do you scale exclusivity? Carefully. You sell perfume to millions while keeping couture for the few. You sell sunglasses widely while restricting the most desirable bags. You open stores around the world while making the best clients feel like they have access to something others cannot see. You create entry points without making the house feel easy to enter. This is why luxury brands are not really in the clothing business, or the leather business, or the watch business. They are in the identity business. They sell people a version of themselves that feels more polished, more successful, more admired, more rare. The product is the physical receipt for that feeling. And that is why people defend luxury purchases so intensely. They are not only defending an item, they are defending what the item says about them. Critics see markup, buyers see meaning, investors see pricing power, brands see a machine that turns culture into margin. None of this means luxury is fake. The craft can be real, the design can be beautiful, the history can matter, the emotional pleasure can be genuine. But the business works because the physical product is only one layer of what is being sold. The rest is social imagination. A customer buys a bag and imagines a life. A customer buys a watch and imagines legacy. A customer buys perfume and imagines elegance. A customer buys a logo and imagines being recognized. That imagination is not free. It is the margin. The genius of luxury is that it makes people pay more while feeling like they receive something money cannot normally buy. Status, taste, access, a story. And maybe that is why luxury never fully goes away. Trends change, economies slow down, logos rise and fall. New generations mock the old symbols, then quietly create new ones. The objects change, the desire remains. Because people do not only buy what they need, they buy what helps them explain who they are, or who they hope other people think they are. In the end, the most expensive part of luxury is not the leather, the metal, or the stitching. It is the story people agree to believe.